go hard or go home.
All right, week 2 is in the books. I'm 2-0 in my league, so I'm going to keep smiling. You're going to see direct mood shifts for me based on how I'm doing in my league, so just get ready for that. But we are ready to talk about this league. There were some upsets this week. I think based on my power rankings, this time I went 3-2, so still like it. Still pretty solid. I think that makes me 8-2 overall, so at least I have some validity in this league. But there was one gigantic update that I can't wait to talk about. We're going to start with one that I saw coming, but not in the way that it happened. It was Los Guerreros beating Dungeon Fish and Grit, so not shocking, but a low-scoring one, a very lucky win for Los Guerreros, who actually only would have beaten 0 other teams in the league. So the luckiest of luckies wins. And it came on a week where just every single guy underperformed. There was just no stud performance. Dallas Goedert is the good news here, in that Dallas Goedert had a gigantic week, not necessarily point-wise, but in clearly becoming a massive part of this offense. I think everyone was probably watching it. It was Monday Night Football. He had some catches called back because of penalties, but he's clearly a guy that I believe is a top 5 tight end. I could make a case for top 3 rest of season, and obviously I have him on my team. But what I'm really excited about is the fact that Jalen Hurts is going to continue really, and including that run game, even their running game is so much better, is going to dictate attention, and Goddard is so active on those flat routes outside when it's kind of an option, and I think there's going to be a lot of passes coming, even on Jalen Hurts', there's my final point on Dallas Goedert. You did not think there'd be a Dallas Goedert deep dive. Even on Jalen Hurts' second running touchdown, you could see Goddard was guarded by a defender who had to decide between Goddard or Hurts. Hurts ended up running for a touchdown because the guy committed to Goddard, who would have easily had a walk-in touchdown if he committed to Hurts. I see in the future more commitments to Hurts, and I think Goddard's stock is going to continue rising. So I want to say something good about you, because I do think this is one of the stronger teams in the league. The negative is that DeAndre Swift had limited action because he's kind of banged up. I don't think that's a concern moving forward. Joe Mixon continuing to be is this really worth that high of a pick or the investment in him? I believe yes. I think you're good. Jamar also a little bit of a concern. It was kind of just an off week for the Bengals. It does make you think, is Los Guerreros over-committing to the Bengals? I think no. I actually think the fact that they're in these close games is better for them than blowouts. I think they're going to just continue to being active. That's what happened last season and why those guys are still valuable. So that's the good news. DJ Moore, a little bit of a concern because of that offense, but the main thing here as far as downgrade in stock is Trey Lance gets injured. That's your second quarterback. Where do you turn to? This is very unlucky. Your investment in San Francisco's offense not paying off with Eli Mitchell being hurt, Trey Lance being hurt. I'm sure you already addressed this. In fact, if I click on your team name, I actually could. I don't know why I didn't do this before. You addressed it by putting Miles Sanders in OP. So I would suggest going quarterback. It looks like you have Garoppolo on your team, so that looks like it's your next chapter. Less exciting than Trey Lance, but is a good way to go. Los Guerreros still 2-0. Dungeon Fish and Grit's really tough start to the season. Now at 0-2, it's a head scratcher as to where this team's going to go. This was a team that before the season we marked as one of the weaker teams. We marked them 8 out of 10, but we thought it was still a decent team. What our concern was no wide receiver 2, and that continues to be a concern. Julio Jones didn't play, I believe. I think 0 points, and he got the start. That's the biggest sin in fantasy football. If you started, could you have started Javonte? No, you couldn't have started Javonte. You would have had to pull out of your hat another wide receiver. You probably would have won. You only needed about 38 points, or 28 points. So this was a just disgusting loss. Pure oversight. Starting someone not playing. Very disgusted. The reason I didn't like this team is that wide receiver 2 spot, and it's really proving to be true. Next matchup, Jay Herbo with a expected win over King Illuminati. Not by much. They were next to each other in rankings, but Jay Herbo was that first B+ we gave, and we're going to keep it there with King Illuminati continuing to be a B. We think these scores dictate that. 505 to 430. What happened here? Jalen Hurts happened. 125 points for Jay Herbo. Really was a guy that, I kind of liked him coming into the season, but I did not see it coming like that. I mean, he went absolutely off. Kirk Cousins, a little bit of a concern. I'm not so concerned, though. I think they're going to continue to get action there. He's just as bad on Monday Night Football. There's not much to talk about. Diggs, yeah, he had a crazy big game, but Gabe Davis was out. I think Diggs is going to continue to be good, but not at that level when Gabe Davis is back. Kupp continuing to be reliable, Montgomery continuing to be reliable, and Dalvin Cook a disappointment, but I mean the game script just wasn't there. I don't think there's so much to pivot your mindset here. I think you're happy about Hurts, the guys you're happy about Diggs, but nothing really changes. I think all of this was foreseeable. You're going to see off weeks for the Minnesota offense. And that kind of is what happened. I do wonder if you think about Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but I really don't think it's time to bench Dalvin Cook. Great week for Jay Herbo to go 1-1. King Illuminati at 0-2. King Illuminati, man, I mean, you kind of deserve the win. 430 in my eyes should be enough to win. You'd beat more teams in the league than would lose to. The good news here is that Herbert isn't totally banged up, and Aaron Jones is super involved in that offense. The bad news is that Zeke is really the concern that we thought it would be. Your wide receiver 2 decision to go Robbie Anderson over Mike Williams was horrendous. I don't know how with Keenan out you bench Mike Williams. I think that was overly reactionary. So even though that isn't the change, reactionary isn't a word. Even though that wasn't the difference in this matchup, you still would have lost. It's one of those losses that I can't say you didn't fully deserve it, because your only close call was a really poor decision in going Robbie Anderson over Mike Williams. So at 0-2, King Illuminati scratching his head like, hey, I have a pretty good team. And I agree. I don't think you're going to keep losing, but 0-2 is a tough start. Next matchup, Los Bitches, come on man, over Sucky Free City the Mob. First, Sucky Free City the Mob, really bad week, 341. I mean, Jonathan Taylor just not being involved right now in that offense to the degree you'd expect. I don't think it's panic button time. I still think this team's actually pretty freaking good. I mean, as you know, I did mark them number 1 overall. I still see absolutely no concerns. Obviously, they're going to start involving Taylor more. Saquon's draft stock's only gone up since the draft. I have no concerns about Debo. I have no concerns about Justin Jefferson. I wouldn't start Taysom Hill in the tight end spot. Someone in my league did too. I warned them before the week. What are you doing? Tight ends don't matter that much in this league. But hey, Dawson Knox, 10 more points. Would have been nice to have. But no, when it comes down to it, I mean, you want more from Carr. I think you'll get more from Carr. You want more from Brady. I think you'll get more from Brady. Again, there's another team. I don't think there's any panic mode. I just think it's an off week. For those bitches, I mean, Lamar Jackson, 170 points. Do I argue that you shouldn't have a structure in your league where a guy can get 170 points? Yes, but does it make it more exciting and fun? Absolutely yes as well. So that, I mean, you probably would have won. You would have won even if he didn't have a crazy game, but that is just absolutely insane. I think you have to be really high on your team right now. Even Carson Wentz coming through for you. My concern is quarterback 2. It's always been quarterback 2. It always will be quarterback 2 since Dak got hurt. Because Carson Wentz had a good week, obviously you're going to be comfortable. I wouldn't be surprised if next week we revisit this and Carson Wentz costs you a week. So you're at 2-0 now. You're getting Dak back soon. As long as you get Dak back, there's a good team. I think you got to be really excited about what Jalen Waddle's doing. Top to bottom with Dak Prescott at quarterback, I think there's a really strong team. I'm going to wait to talk about the final matchup that I really want to talk about. So I'm going to start with Arrogant Hudsonians. Going to 2-0. My boy, Arrogant Hudsonians, the guy that I'm obviously rooting for all season. My 3rd overall in power rankings. Just without Keenan Allen with an injury. Still pulls, and Jerry Jeudy getting injured this week, by the way. Still pulls off a win. Obviously not a crazy strong game. I mean, really from no one did you get massive contribution at the running back, wide receiver, or tight end position. But at quarterback, Josh Allen getting you 88 really made the difference here. I mean, that's an unbelievably good quarterback. I don't know why you have Russ in your quarterback and Allen in your OP. I'm guessing maybe because he was Monday night. Either way, it makes no difference, but it just looks so much nicer when Josh Allen's at the top. Argonautsonians, you know how I feel about your team. I think it's very, very good. I think you do need Keenan Allen back in that wide receiver 2 spot to be marked as a competitive team. And I also think your running back 2 spot is now the weakness with Chase Edmonds taking a backseat to Raheem Mostert. What are you going to do there? I'm very curious to see. I think this could be a team that could benefit from making a trade. I don't love the depth here, so I think you need to go Travis Etienne at that RB2 spot for now. I don't know why Edmonds would get the start over Etienne at this point. I know he's projected for him, but Etienne's just a lot more exciting. I think the trend is up, whereas Edmonds is going down. I wonder where you're going to go next week with that. Straight up beat down, a winnable game, just completely falls because of this quarterback. Again, quarterback makes, I'm going to say it every week, quarterback makes a difference here, and you totaled 22 points from your quarterbacks. That's really bad in this league. That was our concern coming into the season. It continues to be a concern. Another team where there's really no massive pivot. We're going to go into how there was a big pivot with another team. But, I mean, it's just what you expected, really, at this point. Tyreek giving you 112, but still only getting 315 is really tough. I don't know what you're going to do at that quarterback position. I'm higher on Jameis than I am Matt Ryan, but I think both could have comeback weeks. We're gonna have to keep an eye on that. I do love, by the way, how you have a free agent on your bench, a free agent defensive player on your bench. That is very unique. Then finally, the matchup that we want to talk about, King Lacy falls to New World Order, 430 points, a very solid 431 points. from New World Order, the guy that we doubted but we have said he's gonna be on an uptrend. He's gonna have some weeks, and he did. And for this, I mean, it wasn't like he got a 150-point guy. Amon-Ra St. Brown proving to be super valuable, 95 points. And then just getting solid contributions from others. Nick Chubb with his multiple touchdowns, 82 points. McCaffrey, a solid, reliable 74 points. The reason we didn't like your team is quarterback. That continues to be a struggle. You're not going to be able to win a title with Marcus Mariota and Justin Fields at quarterback. But I mean, the rest of your team, very exciting, especially given Courtland Sutton now a really reliable option. If Judy misses any time, Courtland Sutton was a target beast and could dictate a start, even, I hate to say it, even maybe at OP over Marcus Mariota. I don't know where you're going to want to go there. I know I'm big on quarterbacks, so I'm assuming you got to stick, but at least giving you something to think about if there's any missed time from Jerry Jeudy. New World Order, yes, I knew that this would happen at some weeks, but I have to stick with this being a team that I do not see any way they have a winning record. Would love for you to prove me wrong. I feel bad when I say bad things about team. I know it's been a season and a half of saying bad things about you. I think you've yet to prove me wrong, but this is a great start. Finally, King Lacey, a team that we thought would come out stronger. I mean, it's our 9th overall team, so I can't say this is a massive update. We did say this is a team we don't expect much from. And they go to 0-2, so someone did have to win this game, but 392 points, not embarrassing. You would have beaten, I think, 4 different teams in this league, 5 different teams, so about half the league. But man, I mean, just nothing to be super, super thrilled about. CD without Dak is just like bleh. Deontay with Trubisky is just like bleh. AJ Dillon being in a timeshare is bleh. Josh Jacobs, even in a good week, is still to me like bleh. Kyler Murray, I think, just needs to run more. But like, I think that's it. I mean, I feel like he could roll out every time. He's my quarterback in fantasy. I think he's a great option. I think he's a great QB1 for you. I think we could get 100-point weeks from him if he does the Lamar and just go up the middle. Just fucking go up the middle. But outside of that, I mean, not amazing defensive contributions, especially from Fred Warner, who you expect a lot more from. Doesn't really make the difference, but I mean, if you look at kicker defense, I mean, that difference in points was almost the same as the difference in points here, so you're going to want to get more there. But I think for this team, it's not panic button time. It's just such a meh team. It's what we expected coming in. The storyline here is New World Order gets a win. Very excited for you. Let's see what happens next week. Good week. Good luck in week 3.